How long were you in Korea for? Several times broken up. I think total, I don't know. It was usually like several months at a time over some summers and things, and then one longer stint at one point. But it was a very long time ago, and it was over the course of like a lot of different years. I don't know total. It's cheaper to go there for surgeries than just having it in the US. Yes, but that's specifically usually plastic surgery that people are talking about. The medical system over there is still pretty good, so any surgery is still fine to do, but you should be careful. There are also a lot of times where someone goes there and they don't speak Korean. They go to an office, a doctor that is really catered toward travelers. Most of them are fine to go to, but some of them, they will do things like a doctor will sit there and talk to you about your procedure, draw things, show you images of what they're gonna do. You go and get the procedure done, and then you find out it was a different doctor that did it. It wasn't the one that you met with. They were just there to supervise the plans, but they didn't actually do it. But they made you think the whole time that they were gonna do it. I'm not gonna say that's the most common. Usually it's fine, but you have to really like look up a lot of reviews if you're trying to do that. Okay, I had a friend have that happen. She had a deviated septum. That's, you know, the cartilage, the bone between your two nostrils in the middle. A lot of people have deviated septums, meaning one nostril ends up being smaller, right? Because it's just moved to one side. So she wanted to get hers redone because she was having trouble breathing at night straight up if she like leaned on her side. So she was like, I'm just going to do it there because it's basically like within the realm of plastic surgery. A lot of people get deviated septums corrected just because like they have a bump on their nose that they want corrected, things like that, right? So she went over there and she got it done, and they did well with the procedure, but she found out that the doctor that came in and did it was like not the guy that she met with, and it was just this whole thing. She felt like really uncomfortable with it after she found out, and she was like, I mean, it was done well, but she looked it up and there were a lot of stories of it not being done well sometimes when that happens, and she was like, holy lucked out. At least her appearance didn't change, right? But imagine if she went in for something that was appearance changing, right? Like full on plastic surgery, and then like they just gave her something that she didn't want. You know what I mean? Like that does happen sometimes. So I don't know, that could be a bit rough. So what is the point of that? They want like to have the doctors that are most sought after be the face of things, but it's expensive to have them do every procedure. So they just have them supervise and sign off on what's being done. And then sometimes they like stop in to make sure it's being done right, but they have, you know, someone who's working under them do it. I don't know, but that can be scary, man. Yeah, people do plastic surgery because you get a lot more opportunity afforded to you. And the surgeries aren't that expensive anyway, a lot of them. It's not too bad. It's just everyone over there gets like some form of surgery nowadays. Almost everyone, and it's I don't like it personally. I get it, but I don't like it. I mean, having been there for a long time and seeing like people around me, seeing their faces change. There were people that I knew that over the course of a couple years of knowing them, they looked completely different than when I first met them, especially if I met them a little younger. Sometimes they look better, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they look better in, actually this is the case with a lot of Korean surgeries, in my opinion. A lot of the time they look so much better in pictures, but when you see them in real life, there's something weird about it because they're meant to look good when they just go and they sit there and smile at a certain angle, right? And it looks good. But then when they sit there and talk, like you can tell things are just not as they seem. And it's uncanny. And if it's done really well, it doesn't come off like that. But you know, not everything comes out well like that. I think one of the worst ones is I really hate when they do jaw surgery and they shave off their jaw to have a smaller, rounder, or not rounder, but rounder face rather than like chiseled. They don't want like the lower parts of their jawbone sticking out, giving them a square face. It's seen as a bit masculine, right? So what they'll do is they'll take that part at the back of your jaw below your ear where it's sort of more of a right angle, and they'll shave that down so it's just a smooth slope between like the ear and then down to the tip of the chin, and they'll cut that off. They'll just cut that off. And I just hate that surgery a lot because I feel like it gives a good chance of complications later in life, number one. Number two, you might look okay from the front, but when they turn and they're talking, depending on how it was done and what their original bone structure was like, sometimes it just gives them a double chin, right? Like that skin has nowhere to go now. And behind their natural chin, you just have like this little thing hanging. And I'm like, that now you look older. You just aged yourself. Like it's just, I don't know. And sometimes they'll actually take off some extra skin there if they need to, but now you have a scar and it's, you know what I mean? Like it's always a cascade of all these effects, but I don't know. And I feel like it's another way of homogenizing face shapes yet again. And I know that they don't really care about that over there. Over there, everyone just wants the ideal face, but I don't love it. I just feel like a lot of the time when they shave the jaw off, I don't think it makes them look better. I think it makes their mouth look uncanny. I don't know. No thanks. No thanks. I don't know. The jaw surgery thing is very like, I don't like it. I'll show you. Like I get what it's doing from the front, but from the side, it's not good. It's not good. Here's someone from the side who actually think their surgery was done well. You see how their jaw, like that square edge there, was shaved down? So it looks like it's been moved up closer to the ear, right? So the idea is it just makes a lot of your front facial features more prominent. You know, you can just see a lot of this stuff is all done subtly. Like, their surgeries don't look that bad, but the thing is, when you look on the right, you look just behind their chin. Okay, and you see the bit of skin that's kind of between your neck and your chin. Over there, that spot, when people shave their jaws, a lot of the time that starts to like hang. And that makes you look so much older. I think this person's surgeries were well done. Like, it's like pretty subtle, so it's not that bad. And like, yeah, the jaw was shaved, but like, they didn't take that much off. Some people, when they do their surgery, they take so much off that it's like, it's scary. I see that with American celebrities a lot when they show plastic surgery before and after. They'll show someone when they're like 16 and then another picture when they're like 26. And your facial fat changes so much. We don't need that. You know, they keep doing that too. Keep doing it to Ariana Grande, where they're like, oh, her face before and after. And a lot of it just reads as a woman from like her teen years to her, I think she's maybe around 30 now or close to it. And you lose a lot of baby fat on your face. So your face changes a lot, in women especially, throughout their 20s. And they'll be like, oh, did she get these surgeries? And I'm like, she's not 16. Like, what are we what are we complaining about here? I don't get it. I don't know. It gets a little crazy. Oh, my favorite change is now, some of this is being baby-faced, okay? Some of this is just her being baby-faced in the before picture, but I think one of the biggest changes is from their most recent girl group. Or not that recent, but you know, from aespa. They cut Giselle's face off, okay? They cut her face off, straight up. Her nose has an implant in it. It actually didn't change that much. It changed somewhat. Her eyes changed a bit. A lot of this is makeup and losing some weight. A lot of this is makeup and losing some weight, but the jaw is crazy. And her surgeries are really well done, because if you had never seen the before picture, you just look at her and be like, she probably looked like that. Girl, your melanin. Yeah, they make them all do that. A lot of the time it's edits on the photos too. It's not even that it was that crazy that they did anything. It's just some staying out of the sun a little bit, putting a little light makeup on, and then the lighting that they put them in and the pictures that they take of them and how they edit them are crazy. I want to say in idols, it's usually not skin bleaching. People always accuse of that in Korea. It's usually not skin bleaching. Sometimes it is, but I feel like that's a thing they did like 10 years ago, and then people never forgot that. But it's usually not that. It's just staying out of the sun straight up. And like, you know, packing on sunscreen. I think there's nothing wrong with wanting a certain shade of skin if it's within your natural range, right? If you're like, I want to be tan, so I tan more. I want to be paler, so I wear more sunscreen. That's all right. Nowadays, they do that a lot more. They don't really do the full bleaching thing as much. I will say a lot of non-idols will still do it, but in the idol industry, they don't do it as much. But it's more photo edits. It's more, because you'll see a picture of someone who takes a picture of them on their cell phone and doesn't edit it, or a picture from that cell phone, and they'll look a certain color. And then you'll see a picture taken by someone who runs a fan account for them and edits the photos, and they'll like wash them out completely. And you'll be like, you'll put the photos together and go, oh, these are taken on the same day, and in one they look normal, and in the other they look like a ghost, you know? Yeah, the states went the opposite direction with spray on tans. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But I get it. People have a wide range. I know people that, you know, they've always been dark. They look dark. They look super dark. That's just how they are. But then if they like lift up their pant leg and pull their sock down a little bit, they're pale as a ghost. And they're like, this is me if I didn't touch the sun, you know? Like people have very, very wide ranges, you know? So sometimes it's literally just the person staying out of the sun for a couple years because their company told them to. That's just how it is. Depends on the person. Depends on the person. Especially if you're of European descent, depends where you're from. Okay, if you're not northern, you're not western, and you're maybe a little more Mediterranean, usually those people have a range of ghostly to so dark people mistake them for other races. You know, like straight up. That's a lot of folks that are Mediterranean have this range that's very wide, and it's just natural. It's just them going in the sun a little bit versus going out of the sun a little bit, you know?